Hi everyone, Keith Arkenberg Farms. It is now the middle of July, which is the hottest time of the year and the hardest to grow this stuff right behind me here, which is our leaf lettuce. So I've really kind of developed techniques through the years to kind of push it to really grow well, and I can also set out the whole entire block and not have to worry about it. That's the newest one, and that's the coolest thing of all. I can't believe I never thought about it, so let me show you. Now, the past 2 seasons, we have been planting in this white landscape fabric. Now, this is not white on both sides. This is white on the top and black on the bottom. That really suppresses the weeds from actually pushing up through it. I've seen the white on white stuff just let stuff grow up underneath it, and it really pushes it up. But this is some old fabric I had from a couple years ago, and I actually had it set on 18-inch holes all the way down and about 18 apart, but I reburned it specifically for summer lettuce. During the summer, we do decrease our spacing. We have been moving out to 3 rows, 12-inch in row, 12-inch in between row, which really works good in the spring and fall. But during the summer, you have to put more out because it bolts so quickly on me. So you can see right there, that's a bolted one. Right there, that's bolted. None worried, I can harvest those, not a problem. Just gotta get to them really early in the morning. I'll get to that in another video. But I burned this out. Some of the spacing kind of moves back and forth, but it really works well. You want to transplant either in the really early morning or in the late afternoon like we are now. That's why the sun is right in my face, because it sets right over there and we're kind of on the horizon. So I'm gonna get around, start planting, and kind of explain how we're doing it. So what I did here was took my black on white plastic mulch we lay with the mulch layer, but any kind of piece of plastic will work, but mine has to be about 4 foot wide, which is the width of my landscape fabric. I laid that down in the bed first, and then I laid my fabric over the top. This way, when I'm only planting, you know, a couple successions, like there's one at the end, there's one there, there's one here, and I work my way down slowly, I don't have to worry about weeding these stupid little holes, because let me tell you, it is a pain in the butt weeding those holes. It is not fun, not at all. This is my first trial of it. My second trial down there, I set out earlier, and it actually has the white side up, which I thought would be better. Is not, I don't know. It really particularly doesn't matter that much, because you're only getting that much black to heat up the soil more, so I'm not really concerned with heating it up too much. Biggest problem is if you put it out too early, like you can see behind me here, yeah, see all that grass behind my back? It's growing up on both sides over it, so I've got to take care of it. I shouldn't have put that one out there quite that early, but I had the bed prepped and I thought, hey, why not do it? It shouldn't be a problem, but it turned out to be a little bit of a problem. The great thing about when you hit this high intense heat of the summer is that the grass actually stops germinating for about a month, 2.5 month period, because it's just too hot. It knows if it germinates, it's just going to die. So it stops, and it gives you a reprieve on your farm to really focus on actually taking care of your other summer weeds instead of having to deal with that stupid grass. So if you take care of it during the season, you don't have to worry about it over the summer because it really subsides. So we're going to get to planting. So here's what it looks like laid in the field. Like I told you, I used a used piece of fabric, so we've got some holes like that one there. It's a little off center, but I just have it sitting in the middle, and then I took my pins out further on both sides. So there's one underneath here, and then there's one right there. That way I can take this and actually pull it down when I need holes. Now when it comes time to plant, I've got my plastic mulch down here at the end, and I just pull it back, and I'm pulling from the sides because I don't want it to suck in. If I pull it from the middle, it'll actually suck away from these holes. And I'll just bring it back a couple feet to give myself some holes to work in, because also our trays of lettuce do not germinate as well as they usually do this time of year. So I don't want to uncover too much and I actually have to pull it back or try to figure out a way to cover them, because again, they'll fill out with weeds before the next time we plant them. Then bring it back, take my excess along with the excess I already had, rolled up, and tuck it underneath the end. Just like that. When I do that, it does this down at the other end. You see as I pull it back, and then covers the holes, and they are perfectly ready and weed-free, ready to plant. Now, I actually came up with this idea specifically because I always seem to have an extra piece of this plastic mulch laying around the farm because I use it to germinate my carrots. Always do 40-foot beds of carrots. So I've got 40 foot, which is half of one of our long blocks, ready to go at any time, just sitting there waiting for me. Have to stumble across it in the field. It's like, oh, well, I'll put it on top of my landscape fabric to just keep the weeds down before I have time to plant in it, because I know I'm going to have several successions down this 40-foot block, maybe 4-5 weeks worth here, because that's all the real amount of lettuce that we can push at our local farmers market this time of year. So I thought about putting it on top, and then I realized we have such terrible winds here that there's no way that that is going to last more than maybe a couple days, or I've got to put row bags like every 5 foot on it, and that just wasn't something I was wanting to deal with and wanting to haul around just to try this out initially. So instead, put a row bag on each end, well, on our 4 corners, so there, and down there and there. Stretched it out, grabbed my piece of landscape fabric, pinned it at the top end on the corner, pulled it down, pinned it on the other end down there in the corner. Then I pulled that way, and made sure to take the bags off at the bottom and grab my piece of plastic mulch underneath and kind of wiggle it and make sure I hadn't hooked to a pin, and kind of got it into the center. From there, went through and do the usual, take 2 steps, drive a pin, go down one side completely, then come back down the other side completely. By doing that, I created a shell over the plastic mulch so it couldn't go anywhere. And now, every time I come out here and plant, it's pretty simple. Just go down to the end like I showed you, pull on the fabric, open up new holes. They're nice, clean, should be good and stale weed bedded too, because they honestly have been basically stale weed bedding for quite a few weeks now, and go ahead and plant in them. So far I'm digging it. Had a little bit of grass come up in the initial planting, but that is because the whole stale weed bed process that Martin gardeners use a lot had not occurred because it was still fresh. Hadn't had time for the weed seeds to germinate, come up, run out of light, and die. So that's what I'm working with. That's all I got this week. So as always, hope you all like what you saw today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, be sure head over to arkenbergfarms.com. Scroll down near the bottom, digital tools and training, Martin Garden Farm School, all kinds of cool stuff there. Go check it out. There's a description in the link. As always, keep farming. Have a good day.